Happy July 20th. It is good to see you. My name's Adam. I am the executive director here at the Factory Ministries. If you are new to the Factory, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. If you are here, I'd say week in and week out, but ran into one of you at the hall and here in the hall in the building the other day, and they said, "Do you even do your lives anymore?" I said, "I know. I'm so sorry." Really what I should have said is, I know you miss the dad jokes, right? Is that what it is? You miss the dad jokes. No, I said, yeah, I know. It's summer has been hard, busy, vacations, all that good stuff. So if you're new, welcome. If you're not, I was going to say, normally, you kind of, this is our thing week in and week out, but it's not been our thing week in and week out. So thanks for tuning in today on this Thursday afternoon. This is a new time for us. Typically we're on in the morning. I wanted to do that. I thought, you know what? Didn't work out this morning. I thought, I'm not going to let today go without getting this in. So got a lot of fun things to talk about, a lot of cool things to talk about. Want to kick them around, share them with you, give everyone up to date, give a high five to a number of things, some cool stories. Got some good dad jokes, and just going to talk about what's coming. There's some things heading around the corner. I want to kind of kick them around and celebrate what has been happening. So with that said, if you're catching us live right now, love to hear your comments. Say hello, say hi, share a dad joke or two. I'll share some with you. If you're catching us later, maybe it's not live, but you're still watching. Thanks for tuning in. Still love to see your comments and love to hear how's your summer going? How is your summer going? It's crazy. It is half over. Okay, with that said, why don't we start with a dad joke or two and see where that leads us? How about that? Don't gotta. Anyway, here we go. This morning, true story, significant, truly sincere, very true story. Was waiting for this morning in a restaurant. Had a meeting with someone in a restaurant, and was waiting for the waiter. And this thought hit me. So this is a dad joke, a bit of a pun, but this really did. Thought, you know what? When you're waiting for the waiter, does that make you the waiter? What do you think? If I'm waiting for the waiter, does that make me the waiter? I know. Okay, next one. Here we go. Why was the pediatrician always losing his temper? First of all, the pediatrician I'm going to always lose, taking my kids to always lose their temper, I wouldn't come back. But, when you really think about it, you know why the pediatrician is always losing his temper? He had little patience. I know, guys, you can't get this anywhere else other than here. Okay, one more, and then we'll got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. What's the longest word in the English dictionary? Think about it. Longest word in the English dictionary. Just think long. Longest word in the English dictionary, what it is? Smiles. Smiles. Maybe you've heard this one before. The reason the word smiles is the longest word in the English dictionary is the first and the last letters are a mile apart. Okay, I know that one's you've heard before, right? You've heard before. Okay, with that said, here we go. Got a lot to talk about today. A lot of things to kick around. And first of all, let me show you some pictures here. This has been kind of fun. This has been Messy Camp. This was Messy Camp. Each week we've had kindergarten readiness and learning camps. So this was Messy Camp. And I look at that picture there, and I think I'm glad I wasn't up out of camp. I don't even want to touch whatever that is in that thing, in that container. I mean, but kids love this stuff. They made some messy food. Here they are cleaning up from Messy Camp, getting all that kind of, look at all that. I think they're actually color bombs they're making with some cornstarch and other stuff. So anyway, crazy things. That's Messy Camp. Now, what I love about those pictures is one of my, I love all that we do at the factory. One of the things that I find a lot of energy around. And so it's actually just sitting today with the Rotary Club, and Rotary Club actually partnered with us to write a grant for our early learning center, the Imagination Library Center. So they had Lisa Eckert come in and share. So I was there in the Rotary Club, Lisa's sharing. And again, I find such energy and excitement around this is because when we think about it, kindergarten readiness is so crucial. Learning is so crucial. The data around it, if you're going to tackle poverty, if you're going to see thriving in life in general, whether you're worried about poverty or not, just thriving, kindergarten readiness and education and those early metrics are so important. And so looking at the data around that today, and she's sharing, I mean, I found my pulse, I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. I'm like, oh, I get to be a part of this. If not, I'd be signing up to volunteer right now. So that was really fun. So I thought I'd share those pictures each and every week this summer. There have been camps. So that was Messy Camp. They've had various different themes. They've done kindergarten readiness camps. They've had kindergarten readiness camps, and then they've had the lunch and learns in the park, Paradise Park. So I want to just throw that. There is just one more of those coming. So if you've missed that, I would love for you to check that out. You'll see this is a little calendar. This is our July calendar. So a lot of these things have already happened. The identity theft class was this past week. There's a Q&A session coming up with M&T Bank and financial stuff coming up next week. But the Lunch and Learn right there, you'll see the PV Building Braves. The Lunch and Learn is next week. I believe it's their last. Yeah, the next week's their last one at Paradise Park, 10:30 to 12 p.m. 10:30 to 12 p.m. So I want to throw that out to you. Just kind of let you be aware of that. So again, so much energy. Absolutely love it. Just sitting here, listen to Lisa talk today, listen to her show her data, the number of families that have been connected, the outcomes, seeing the growth of it was fun to be a part of. Anyway, so there was kind of some cool pictures there to share with you. The other thing is you think about coming, and I showed you that calendar. The thing that then in August you don't see in that calendar, we'll have the August one coming, is bingo. Bingo and the community care team have kind of taken a break for the summer, but they've had games with Ryan. And so again, that's coming up again next Thursday. And then this August, we have our back to school bingo event, and that'll get bingo started then for the whole year. So back to school bingo is coming. You'll see more information coming on that. So super excited about that. But also that financial learning, there it is again. That's on the adult side, the Q&A session with M&T Bank. So again, come on out with all your questions. Maybe you've got a question about loans. Maybe you've got a question about credit. Maybe you've got a question about fees and other things on banking and whatnot. So again, come on out with any of your questions, budgeting, financial, investing, maybe different, anything. Just come on out with all your financial questions. It's going to be a Q&A session to kind of kick that around. So that's looking forward to that. Also coming, what's been happening, I want to just share this one. We've been talking about this. This has been happening over the summer as well. This is a series called My Best Self. This has been exciting. This has been with Tanya Mack. This is in conjunction with Community Action Partners. This is a group they do interactive activities on how to plan and live your best life is really the kind of the heart of this. It happens every Monday, 5:30 to 7. So yes, they're already in the swing of it, but you didn't need to grab it from the beginning to still be a part of it. Feel free to join in. I think they're on week 5 or 6 there right now. 5 is stress management. And 6 is mindfulness. Again, 2 very, very crucial things as you think about thriving well in life. Stress is very real. I think most of us face it, not all of us, but most of us do. And mindfulness, just being present. Okay, what am I feeling? What is happening? And being present to that, to be able to name that, is a key part of thriving in life and healthy boundaries and interacting with people. So that's that. Mondays from 5:30 to 7. Okay, so that's the stuff up and coming. And let me see here. Final thing I want to share with you, also up and coming, is our July. This has been happening all July, I should say, is our food drive throughout July. We're looking for peanut butter and jelly, crackers, saltine, Ritz, shampoo, pasta sauce, syrup, pancakes, and laundry detergent for our market. So again, You can post that list maybe in your workplace, maybe in your break room, maybe take it to church with you, maybe post in your neighborhood. But again, that's July. The other thing I want to mention is, as you think about engagement at the factory, is we're hiring. There's actually 2 positions right now. The youth center director position is still open. We have some candidates that we're interviewing, strong candidates, but again, I'd still encourage resumes to be coming in for that. And if that's of any interest to you. And also, we're going to be looking for a senior director of development. You say, well, what is development? Well, development is connecting with donors around. Here's how I sum development up: walking with donors, caring for them, and helping them give smarter. That's development in a real short nutshell. So it's then helping overseeing our events and planned giving and grants and all that good stuff. So if you or someone you know is interested in that, we'd love to chat with you. Again, there's the information there. That's kind of thing there at the very bottom, very, 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 very bottom. So you might want to pause your video and zoom in on that thing. But it's Louise at thefactoryministries.com. Louise is our senior director of operations. So all things operations. So HR falls in that bucket. And so if you're looking, would say, hey, I've always wanted to work at the factory. Here's my chance. And I think I can contribute in that way. There's an opportunity for you. Okay, with that said, let me land with some encouragement. I want to share something something happened to me this week. And I think I want to share a story that happened here at the factory. And I also want to share something happened with me that kind of dovetails in a similar theme. And then I want to land the plane with just talking about forgiveness. I don't know if you saw here recently, this past year, the Surgeon General posted research on loneliness and the reality of I think they labeled it at an epidemic level. The people report being lonely, and as they talked about that, and the research shows that loneliness at certain levels is bad for our health as smoking X amount of cigarettes a day or something. I wrote it was. I forget the exact data. But as I thought about that, I thought, it's understandable why we end up lonely. Now, there's a lot of reasons we end up lonely. There's a lot of things that happen. But some of why we end up lonely is, I think, is I observe life today for myself. I'm going to say that. So, I'm in my late 40s now. And I now have readers, I'm sitting here trying to follow my notes, and I'm like, I think I need to put my readers on, right? So I'm later in life, and I'm starting to observe more, and I'm seeing my oldest get married this fall, and I've just watched, and I think, man, I think one of the reasons we're lonely is because we hang on to stuff. And how do we let go of it? And we hang on to stuff, it can do some ugliness to us that people don't really, then we're not attractive as we're around other people, and we don't really want to be with them anymore. And after a while, we start to get there's legitimate hurts that happen. Families can disintegrate and fall apart, and that leaves us lonely. Communities, we can feel on the outside, we can lose a job. Places where we thought we belonged, we now don't belong, and a lot of things that can churn. And all, as I find this theme that runs through a lot of them, is this subject of forgiveness. Some of the people that I've journeyed with in life that have the deepest and most refreshing relationships, there's a lot of things that are true about those individuals that I look to and try and learn from. But one of the things you often see them is there's a gentleness and a sweetness of spirit that's able to let stuff go. So I want to just mention briefly, I want to share this story. I'll share a little bit of my story, a little of this story. First one I'll share has to do with our youth center. This happened recently. Ebeth, Ebeth, she was out with the teens and walking alongside teams. And at the end of the night, someone was missing makeup from their bag. It was a girls' night event, and makeup went missing. And there's $45 in a bag. And makeup. The $45 was left, but the makeup was stolen. So Ebeth starts in her, Ebeth does what Ebeth does really well. She's got a strong relationship with these girls. She begins to interact with them, kind of makes a general announcement. Ultimately, it's found with a student who lost her mother and is in a house, and she's aging now. She's kind of coming to that stage of now you're coming developing, and you're now coming through puberty, and you're kind of in that age now where she's with her dad and with with boys and brothers, and she's feeling this sense of, I stand out. I want girl things. I want makeup. So she stole it. So Ebeth tells the story and the beauty of journeying with individuals in tough places and hard places, of losing a mom, able to walk in with her and interact with her and be present to that pain, but also at the same time say, hey, by stealing it, you've taken this and you've laid that out. So she was able to walk her through a process of forgiveness and growing that relationship, which was really just neat to hear Ebeth kind of share that story. Excuse me. This week, I had someone reach out to me to talk with me. Here's mine too, and said to me, "Hey, can we chat?" So I'm like, "Yeah, let's do that." And so it's someone I haven't talked to in a while. Hold on a second. It's Downtown Live videos. Can't edit that out. My throat's bad, so I gotta get a drink. So anyway, so someone reaches out to me, wants to chat. I'm like, great. So this is someone I haven't. It's someone that I was not sure I wanted to meet with. Someone that I've kind of distanced myself from because I was really hurt by them. But I thought, you know what? It's been a number of years, and I'm like, man, what I shared earlier is I know, like, I want to have a sweet spirit. I want to forgive. I want to be able to journey well with people. So yeah, let's meet. Let's talk. Like, I'm a big person, right? Like, let's do this. So they came in. Sorry. Wasn't sure where it would go, and I don't need to get into all the ins and outs of it, but long story short, this person said to me, "Hey, Adam," named what they did and said, "I've really just come to realize that I really wronged you. Will you forgive me?" I really admired that person. As I was able to think through it and process, I was like, yeah, I will. So that's in the kind of receiving side of it now. And I thought, man, yes, I will. And I thought, man, I want to be that kind of person that can go to someone even after a number of years and just sit down and say, will you forgive me? So a lot of things we could talk about this. I mean, we could spend all afternoon here together talking about this subject. Because what is forgiveness? How do you forgive? How do you let go of bitterness? Because holding on to it again, the roots grow down and it isolates and alienates, and it's just hard. So again, a lot we could talk about. I was even thought about maybe over the next couple lives we could kind of kick this subject around. I'll see. Maybe if you think that's a good idea, I'd love to hear. Like, hey, let's try that. But anyway, so here's one of the things I want to start with. Just want to share this. One of the things that I've wrestled with forgiveness for me personally was justice. I like justice. I work in what we do here at the factory. I feel like we are constantly fighting for justice. Poverty wouldn't exist. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this so bluntly and boldly. And think about this more. Poverty likely, let's say it this way, would not exist if it weren't for the abuse of power and exploitation. It is in the brokenness of our world. And so when we are about walking with those in tough places and in poverty, often what we're running up against is injustice at some capacity, inequity. And so I'm drawn to this work. I love fighting for justice. However, when I look at forgiveness, I've always wrestled. I thought, no, wait a minute. Where is the justice when I forgive? Like, that person did wrong. Like, they hurt you, they hurt them, they violated a law or have done something atrocious. So one of the things is I've been journeying it through life and I've been thinking about forgiveness. One of the things I've come to realize is justice and forgiveness actually work together. And true forgiveness, when we really understand what it is, it actually embraces justice and doesn't alienate or push it away. It's actually, in a lot of ways, one and the same. Well, here's where I'll start. Now, that's all I can share with you, but I just want to encourage you with this one thing. I could keep talking about this. But if you think about forgiveness starts with truth-telling. If there isn't truth-telling, there isn't true forgiveness. And right there is where we start leaning in towards justice. So when that individual came into my office this week and said, hey, Adam, I did, and he named it. Will you forgive? He named reality. He named truth. Now, I had the option then to forgive, to release, to absorb that and let it go. Now, I can share more about kind of what that looks like if it's something that I couldn't let go, if it's a deep, anyway. But it's truth telling. Think of the story I shared about Ebeth and how she journeys with teens here. And that story I shared there was truth telling. There was looking at a young girl and saying, you stole. There was talking to another girl and saying, you were stolen from. So true forgiveness to take place, there has to be truth telling. Romans chapter 12, I'm a person of faith. I read the scriptures. I follow Jesus. And so I look to the scriptures for guidance. Romans chapter 12 says something very, very interesting. It says, sincerely love. Immediately on the heels of that, I think this is verse 9. If you want to go read it this week for yourself, I think it's immediately verse 9. It says, hate what is evil, love what is good. If you're going to sincerely love someone, if you're going to sincerely be a person of a sweet spirit and deep relationships, and we started to open this up, not live in isolation. If you're really going to love someone well, you've got to name reality. And when reality is ugly, to truly love them is to name it and to say, this doesn't work. This isn't good. This hurts. This makes me angry. This violates me. This violates others. And that's where the justice arm of forgiveness comes in. Now, I could say a lot more now because that's probably just cracking open a can of worms and you're thinking, oh my goodness. But here's the thing I want to say. What I've learned over and over and over again is, man, life is hard, right? Life is hard. And I am not going to live this life without violating others and being violated myself. And part of living with a sweet spirit is learning to forgive, learning to love well, have that sweet spirit and forgive. To do that, I'd say, man, let's lean into naming reality. So I don't know, for you, maybe it's who's in your life today, who's there that you're like, someone may have hurt you. Someone may have really wronged you. Learning to step in and name that reality. Name it to yourself first, I think, is a good place to start, even before you step out and name it to them. So a lot more I can share in that. I know I'm just kind of scratching the surface. I hope it encourages in some capacity. Freedom from bitterness is unbelievably life-giving. And that starts with forgiveness. Okay, that's it. There's a lot more I could share in that. I do want to mention if I will be actually at Grace Point Church this coming Sunday. Their service is at 10:15. I'll be able to be preaching there. I'm not preaching on forgiveness and that, but I'm kind of excited about that. So if you want to join us there, if you're not a part of a church family, would love for you to come on out and check out Grace Point Church this Sunday at 10:15. Okay, I'm looking at my notes here. I need my readers. Just give me a minute because I'm now old. Make sure I got all the things covered that I was supposed to cover today. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So with that said, let me wrap us up with, why don't we just share, it's kind of some dad jokes that kind of run along with what I just shared. First one, a guy was telling me the other day, he didn't get it. Like it was very confused. He was in looking for a sofa. So he was in a furniture store and the furniture salesman told him this sofa, he was looking for a big sofa. This sofa will feet. This sofa will seat 5 people without any problems. Now he said to me as he was talking about this, he goes, I didn't buy that sofa. I didn't trust the guy. Where do you find 5 people without problems? I know. Right? Forgiveness. We need it. We all have problems. People everywhere. I don't know you're going to find anyone without problems. Anyway, next one. Again, speaking of problems, a little advice that was given to me the other day. Someone said, Adam, you know what? If you're feeling down, that's something I've battled depression over my life. Some of you know my story. Depression has been a part of my journey. So if you're feeling down, try drinking a pint of water before going to bed. I was like, a pint of water before going to bed? He goes, yeah, it'll give you a reason to get up in the morning. Okay, with that said, a lot more I can talk about. A lot of cool things happening here at the factory. I have some construction updates. We'll do them on our next live. A lot of construction updates I want to give you. Very exciting news about that. But again, some other remodeling happening. So grateful for grants and the community development block grant and some other money that we have that's going to be moving forward to see some things done here. So again, we have that coming up. I'll talk about it next live. Love and appreciate you, whether you're someone right now who journeys with us from a volunteer standpoint, a donor, someone who just cares and prays for us in the community. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you're someone here right now watching, like, man, I'm struggling, I'm hurting, reach out. We'd love to journey with you in some capacity, help you find life. With that said, appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you, I'd say next week, but we're in the summertime schedule. We'll shoot for next week. If we miss it, I'll see you in 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. Appreciate you. Love you. I will talk to you later.